This video is brought to you by patreon.com/worsttake. Get access to exclusive live streams and Discord servers, on-screen shoutouts, and early access to some videos when you join now. Help make sure that we can continue to make content like this by supporting the Patreon. Links are in the description down below. Pittsburgh Three Rivers Stadium, where dreams go to die. Oh man, I mean, like at some point you just gotta laugh at it, right? Like I know everybody has been furious, and maybe when you come across this video, you're still furious. But if you want some kind of silver lining, right? There were a lot of people in the comment section after the Browns did what they did to Cincinnati and Cleveland, who were quick to remind me, hey man, don't get too excited. Cincinnati always looks like that when they come to Cleveland. Well, maybe it works the opposite way. Don't get too depressed. Cleveland always looked like that versus Pittsburgh. It don't usually mean nothing, right? Like even when the Browns went to the playoffs, we looked like trash when we went to Pittsburgh that year. So who knows? But the effects of this game weren't just losing it. You lost Nick Chubb in this game. Like you lost a lot of things in this game that are concerning it, and Deshaun Watson like outright just looked concerning. And if you watch my channel for any period of time, you would know that I've been somebody who's been leaning more towards hey, I think Deshaun's gonna look like 2020. I think they're gonna be able to figure this out. And honestly, from everything I saw in camp, from everything I saw in the preseason, I thought that they were trending in that direction. But this was a performance so bad that I'm unsure, to be honest with you. Like I am unsure what to think of this anymore. I was in like the 80% sure he was going to look like Deshaun Watson again. After today's game, man, I don't know. I'm back to 50-50 world. Like I'm going to just have to take this game by game, week by week with him, because if I were to describe the offense today, I would describe it as broken. What do I mean by broken? I thought from a pass schematic standpoint, it felt broken. Like when I say it feels broken, I'm more specifically referring to the fact that Deshaun is never really like given the opportunity to hit wide receivers in stride. Like look at his completions, look at his miss. How many times are these receivers on the move when he's throwing the ball? Deshaun is a great anticipatory thrower, and I never see him have opportunities to hit guys in stride. I don't know why that is. It seems like every time he throws the ball, he's throwing it to somebody who's settling in his zone or just clamping down after a long play instead of somebody in motion. It didn't look like that in Houston. It's only looked like that his 8 games in Cleveland. It's a concern. It's a certified concern, because my concern is not that the offense is just scheming these guys to stay still. It's that Deshaun's holding on to the ball so damn long that these dudes are done running their route by the time he wants to throw the ball. Routes work because you could throw it to them while they're in motion. The second somebody has to stop running a route, that route becomes a lot easier to cover, doesn't it? I don't know. That's what the film's going to reveal. But that's what it looks like to me, is that he's holding on to the ball so long that these wide receivers are no longer in motion by the time he's ready to get rid of it. Something looks broken. If it's not the offense, it's Deshaun. I don't know if it's Deshaun in this offense, but something is broken. He's late. He's never sure where he wants to throw the ball, especially in the middle of the field. Like the old Deshaun Watson did not look like he was anywhere in there for him today. We got to call a spade a spade. Maybe it gets better. Maybe he improves. But Deshaun Watson looked like a rookie quarterback. Look shocked, look shell shocked at times. Like it was that bad of a performance. Defense only gave up 9 points. That's the good news. Defense looked great. Miles is getting pressures all over the place, affected the game, all that stuff. Denzel Ward, Martin Emerson were great. We had some injuries. I think Greg Newsom's out. And maybe Denzel. I think Denzel came back into the game. There's an ankle to watch with Zadarius Smith. Obviously, Nick Chubb out for the season. I mean, like that we'll discuss that later in the video. But like, here's how concerning Deshaun Watson was as a quarterback. We lost Nick Chubb for the year, and that's not even my main concern right now for this Browns team. That is so far in the back burner. Nick Chubb. We lost Nick Chubb. All of a sudden, I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't know what we're going to do. And to the people who are going to tell me, hey, it's because the offensive line didn't block well. That's why he didn't look right, Quincy. Or, hey, it's because Nick Chubb wasn't in the game, Quincy. That's why he didn't look that great. Or, hey, it's these wide receivers. They just not getting separation. It's this and that. I'll say the same thing I said about Baker Mayfield when it came for Baker Mayfield to make the turn that we traded Deshaun Watson to get. At some point, the quarterback has to be good enough to overcome adversity. If that's not going to be the case, then what are we doing? I don't care that there was adversity for Deshaun Watson. I don't care that things might have been a little tougher. I don't care that the Pittsburgh Steelers have a good defense. You pay Deshaun Watson the money you're paying him. You have Deshaun Watson because you believe that Deshaun Watson's the type of guy you can have at quarterback that things can go wrong around and he will still be all right. That's who we believe Deshaun Watson to be. That's who the front office believes for Deshaun Watson to be. That's quite frankly the standard for Deshaun Watson to be. All this artificial bullshit talk about top 5 stats and everything else to match up to the contract, I don't give a damn about that. What I do care about is that, hey, when things fall down around Deshaun, can he still make plays? Or are we going to be on here talking about the offensive line again? Are we going to be on here, oh, man, it's not his fault, it's the wide receivers. Oh, man, it's not his fault, it's the offensive line. Oh, man, it's not his fault, it's because Nick Chubb's not out there. And then if you know what we did all this for? We did this with Baker Mayfield. Did we trade 3 first-round picks, $230 million to be in the same place we were with Baker Mayfield? Is that where we're at? That can't be the excuse, and that can no longer be the standard. Either Deshaun Watson lives up to that standard and we Gucci, good money all the way to the bank, or he doesn't. Last week, I thought he lived up to the standard. Things went wrong. He found a way to make plays. So last week against Cincinnati, he played up to the standard. This week, he did not. Don't need another week like this. Don't need another one like this. So there's that. If you're looking for an optimistic standpoint or optimistic point for Deshaun Watson, it's just one game. He looked better athletically last week. He looked better throwing the ball somehow last week. Like, he looked better last week. Maybe something happened. I don't know. He'll look better next week, maybe. I don't know. I can't give him the benefit of the doubt, but there's a chance because he did not look that bad last week. I thought he made the plays you needed to win the game. This week, that pick 6 wasn't his fault, but that fumble 6 was. Like, I know Jed got beat, but Jed was on a run action pull, so he had to turn his back real quick. Deshaun should have known he had to get that ball out, given that's what the protection was. And instead of getting the ball out quick, he holds on to it and then like is real lackadaisical with his ball protection. Once he senses pressure, he still has that ball hanging. Scoop, score, loses the game. Defense gave up 9 points. That's the upside. Downside is that special teams and offense somehow found a way to spot the Steelers 17. We're not even going to talk about special teams being awful today, right? Let's talk about special teams being awful. Whatever's going on our punt coverages are terrible. Like just trash, complete garbage. We kept giving the Steelers somehow the ball in plus 50 because of penalties, because of turnovers. Deshaun Watson, that wasn't even what the interception and the fumble weren't even his only turnovers. He had another fumble. Looked awful. Looked god awful. But that's enough on Deshaun. I think I talked enough about Deshaun Watson. For the love of God, play better. That's the only thing I can say. It didn't look good, man. I'm not encouraged. Everything that concerned me last year is back, and it looked worse. And if that's who he's going to be, then like I don't know how much longer that can last. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, defensively, they were great. Special teams was a disaster. Punt coverage was awful. Punt returns were awful. We kept not catching the punt return. Just why does everybody overthink this, man? Everybody laughs at me like I am joking when I tell you all I want is a possession punt returner. But tell me that wouldn't have helped us in this game, man. Donovan Peoples-Jones out here backed up to the 5-yard line, not catching punts. Doing the stuff that drives us crazy about that man being on punt team. Is there somebody who can't just catch punts there, man? I don't need you to return them. Just catch them. Can Marquise Goodwin not do that? I don't need him to return them. Just catch them. Somebody got to do it. Somebody got to do it, man. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Nick Chubb out for the season. What are we going to do to replace it? A lot of people suggested Jonathan Taylor. Browns traded for Jonathan Taylor. I could see that. I don't think it's going to happen, but I could see if the price for Jonathan Taylor gets to like a fifth and you can convince him to take a 1-year, $10 million contract, it could happen. More than likely, they just go get a Kareem Hunt or some veteran in free agency and run it like that. But I'm going to tell you this right now. Nick Chubb, Jerome Ford, who is a damn shame. He looked really good. A lot of disrespect was hurled his way in the offseason. I felt like Jerome Ford looked great. But the sad fact of the matter, ain't none of this shit going to matter if the passing offense looks like that for the rest of the year. That was just awful. There's no sugarcoating. There's no pointing fingers on that. That looks awful, and that's pointed squarely at number 4. We traded for number 4 to never have passing days like that. Cannot happen very often. This has to be one of those games that was so bad that we remember it. Because if this game just falls into our memory, we just forget about this game, that means that he's going to give you more like this. This has to be something that sticks out as the worst game we've ever seen him play. Because if he plays anything like that again, it's a problem. Like, I don't know, man. That was bad. That was really, really bad. Again, the defense looked great. I mean, like the Steelers' offense isn't that much to write home about, so I'm not surprised. They didn't let the Steelers into the red zone once. I think the one big play they gave up, there was a miscommunication between Juan Thornhill and Denzel Ward. Some of those bad habits I talked about them probably having in the offseason. And, miscommunication on who's supposed to carry on what. And it just lets George Pickens behind the defense to score easily. But I'm not about to sit here and blame this game on the defense. They did everything they needed to. They even got you the ball back at the end of the game, man. On a 3 and out. Ain't nothing you can blame the defense on. Jim Schwartz, have a day. But everything else was just a flat out mess. Like outside of Jerome Ford, everything else was a mess. Flat out mess. And I don't know what the fix is. The thing I do know And I don't like to leave y'all doom and glooming, all that. But you know what I do know? Is that last week we were ready to moonwalk and dance our ass naked to Las Vegas to get ready for this Super Bowl we thought the Browns were going to play in. This week we ready to moonwalk and dance naked into our grave because of the game that the Browns played in. At the end of the day, they are 1-1. If they win these next 2 games, we're going to be feeling all right again. If they don't win these next 2 games, we're going to be right back here. My point is, next week, now that this week is over, it's over. Move on to next week. If they win against the Titans, we're going to feel a lot better. If Deshaun throws for a good amount of yards against the Titans, we're going to forget about this one sooner than later. This isn't the Jets game. You didn't lose this game because the defense gave up 14 points in 2 minutes. You lost this game because the offense just didn't show up. And as disappointing as that is, this happens to NFL teams. Hell, it happens to the Chiefs. So you're not immune to it. Maybe it's just a bad game. Maybe it's just the water in Pittsburgh. Maybe it's just something. I don't know. But next week is next week. You win next week, you feel better. You win the week after that, we back to moonwalking to Las Vegas. So remember, it might feel like the end of the world, but it's never the end of the world. Y'all have a great day. Try to have an even better night. Try to enjoy it. Try to smile. Try to find some joy. Try to find some laughter. Watch a good movie or something. I don't know. Like, y'all been into some TV shows? Put some TV show recommendations in there. Just find your joy for the week. Because the Browns ain't getting none of that. Ooh, boy. Find your joy. You know what I mean? Just find your joy. Go get you a cheesecake or something, some red velvet. Figure out what it is that you need to do to make you smile that's legal and not dangerously harmful for you. And do that. You know what I mean? Spend time with your significant other. Laugh with each other. Enjoy each other. Find your smile this week. Because come Sunday, you might have a new chance to smile. But that's all I'm going to say. Y'all have a great day. Have a good night.